Well, hey, everybody. James is saying that apparently my mic was on the whole time, so I don't know if it's... I set it to go through my Yeti mic rather than my webcam mic that it had set up. But if James is saying that my mic was on, my Yeti mic was off. So it might still be going through my webcam mic. So there might be tons of unforeseen issues. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I went to get onto stream, and the program said, LOL, nothing you have had set up is gonna work anymore. So, you know, we're gonna try to wing it. We're gonna try to do things the best we can. I'm gonna try to still get through 2 chapters. I do have some errands to run after stream is done. So I don't know if I'll get through 2 chapters, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to keep up with the chat. We're gonna just try to just go. And James, I already know I need to get the corners back on this one, but you know, it was a very quick let's get this going kind of situation. Due to all of the technical difficulties. It's so fun when I have a new computer and the stream is nice and clear and I look beautiful, and yet there are still technical difficulties. But let me really quick, let me go through the chat, because I was only focusing specifically on what James was trying to type in there, since that was, you know, technical stuff. But let's see. We got Nut Avenue saying, let's go for sure. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. God, who was that? Was that Trick Daddy sampling Black Sabbath, I think? Might be before some of y'all's time. Jesus, I'm old and I hate it. Let's see. Hello back to you on Twitch, Puppet Master 123456789. Let's see. Oh, Jake is here. Hey, Jake, how's it going? Will I react to Superman and Lois? I haven't even seen it yet. I'm so far behind on everything CW verse that like I don't really want to just jump in. Though I feel like we're gonna have I'm gonna have to at some point. I'm gonna have to just make time to get through it all. From the clips that I've seen, I mean, it looks phenomenal, right? Like it looks like what Superman's supposed to be. Like that one clip that's been going around on Twitter, where like he gives the kid his hat back. Like it's got references to Fleischer, to the first appearance in Action Comics, to Superman for all seasons. It's got just tons of stuff all packed into it. It seems like they're really trying to hit the core of what Superman is, and I'm really interested in that. I don't know if y'all have seen the behind the scenes stuff. Apparently they fired a black woman who was working on writing the show, and like had her hand in all of the scripts for the first season, who was trying to make sure that you know, they pay mind to the lack of diversity and all that kind of stuff. And apparently they decided instead of doing that, they would fire her, and so that's been a big bummer for me to see. But the show itself so far looks pretty decent, and I imagine that, you know, if she had a hand in all of the first season will probably be decent and good. But I don't know where it's gonna go from there. If they decided that that's not something worth their time, you know. Let's see. Let's see. Has there been anything else in the chat? Oh, hey, Andrew Cazzini's here. How's it going? Yes, the stash is gone. So this new video coming out on Sunday is a very big piece for us. I feel like this is probably the biggest video, at least that I've worked on for the channel. I don't know how James feels about it, about the work on his end, but like it's essentially, it is like a huge bio piece on Dwayne McDuffie. It's going to be 48 minutes long. It's a collaboration with the Ink Tank, since they're really well versed in Ben 10 and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be like it's such a big thing, and I realized that this would be my first like on cam video with the mustache, and because the only video I've done since having the mustache was the like Sissy and I drunkenly guessing the Justice League, which we were never on cam for. And I decided that just out of respect for Dwayne and this whole project, it made more sense just to get rid of the mustache so that it doesn't become like a point of focus in the video. So it's it had to go. And I'm not opposed to having it come back at some point, but like it just wasn't the time, you know. So maybe later, but not today, not this week. Thank you for streaming this time after the Ink Tank, so I wouldn't have to worry about missing one. Oh, do my streams like do my streams overlap with theirs? This was a total accident on account of technical difficulties, but that might be something worth keeping in mind going forward. How's the Ben 10 marathon? I haven't watched anything past the original series and Secret of the Omnitrix yet. Our video schedule is so backed up that the Ben 10 review is gonna have to be a little bit of a ways down the road. So I'm trying to not go into the next thing yet, and let you know, and have that affect my opinions on, like, I want to do one series at a time. So I'm probably going to actually rewatch the original series on my own time and take notes and at least write the script out and shoot the video and send it to James for whenever he wants to edit it up. But until that's done, I'm not hopping into Alien Force yet. Let's see. Dwayne, he was my childhood favorite. Yeah, Dwayne's fucking phenomenal, and this I really hope this piece does his legacy respect. I cried while researching it. I cried while writing it. I cried while performing the video aspect of it, and I'm sure that I will cry again like while watching it. It's a really emotional thing, kind of going through his life, and I'm really excited to share that one for you with you all. When it comes down to it, will Alien Force and Ultimate Alien be separate reviews or one, since they're so similar? I mean, they're separate shows, right? So I would assume that they would be separate reviews. I don't know, much about Ben 10 at all, so just going as I go. But the first one I'm hoping to be the original series, Secret of the Omnitrix, and the Race Against Time movie. It's a shame he isn't here for the upcoming Static Shock movie. Agreed. But since we're already running about 30 minutes late, let me pop over to here. And we got chapter 4 coming up today. Let's see, what is your favorite episode from the... Oh, get that out of here, dismiss. What is your favorite episode from the Ben 10 franchise so far? I don't remember the episode titles off the top of my head. I really, really liked Secret of the Omnitrix. I think it did what I was wanting the series to do, like, the whole time, and it kind of made Ben analyze himself and realize his motives for why he was doing things weren't necessarily the correct reason, and it made him kind of take into consideration that he had been pretty selfish and pretty self-centered throughout the entirety of the show, and I really appreciated that. I do think one of my I think one of my favorite ones was let's see. I really liked Beowulf. Beowulf was a great one. But off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time remembering some of the other ones. There's no art or time difference like the other series. Huh, okay. Speaking of JL Doom, in your opinion, is a sequel to Crisis on Two Earths or no? It's been a long time since I've watched JL Doom, so I wouldn't be... I'm probably not the one to ask, but from what I remember, I think that it is. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start reading the book since we're like 40 minutes behind, and I've got errands I gotta run after this. So let's get into it. So for those of you who haven't been here, we're reading the novelization of Justice League Secret Origins. That is the first 3 episode arc of the Justice League show. It's when the Justice League all gets together. We're taking notes over here in a spreadsheet for timeline and canonicity purposes. For the most part, things will line up for canon since it's a novelization. But there will be some weird stuff here and there. Like there was one instance where like apparently Superman's been around since Snapper Carr was a little child, and just with the way that we've looked into the DCAU, I know we haven't timelined Superman the animated series yet, but it seems like he wasn't around for incredibly long before Justice League, like maybe 4 or 5 years, but that's something that we'll have to take into consideration and try to figure out. But anyway, we're in chapter 4. We're about to learn about Wonder Woman. So let's do that. Paradise Island in the Aegean Sea glimmered like a jewel. Its perfect white sand beaches shining in the warm sun, blue-green waves lapping gently on its shores, home to the legendary Amazons, a race of women warriors created by the ancient gods. The beautiful island had always provided a refuge from their constant battles. Rising high from the center of the island, the fabled city of Themyscira served as a place of spiritual peace and intellectual pursuit for the many Amazons who called it home. 2 such women rode along the shore. The younger of the 2, tall and strong, with long raven hair, reined in her powerful white horse, which whinnied, rearing up on its hind legs. I have like a blockage in my nose. Easy, girl, she said, reaching down and gently stroking the horse's neck. Easy. Next to her, atop a light brown horse, the older woman, regal and beautiful, with flowing blonde hair, tightened the reins on her steed. She stared out to the sea. The omens we have heard tell of. That's a weird way to structure a sentence. The omens we have heard tell of don't bode well, mother, the younger woman commented, concern showing on her face. It may be that mankind is facing its darkest hour. The older woman frowned. If that is the case, Diana, she began in a stern, domineering... Is there, like, hair coming on my nose? What is happening? The older woman frowned. If that is the case, Diana, she began in a stern, domineering tone, then mankind will have to face it alone. Pulling firmly on the reins, she turned her horse away from the water, back toward the great city. How can you say that? Diana asked, frustration clear in her voice. It was true that her mother, the great Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, had far more experience in the ways of mortals than she did, but Diana still felt great worry for the humans of the outside world. Pausing, Hippolyta turned back toward her daughter. Whatever happens beyond these shores is not our concern, she stated impatiently. Here, the gods will protect us. Then, turning back towards Themyscira, its gleaming palaces and ancient temples sparkling in the midday sun, Hippolyta rode back to the city. Gazing from the sky out to the sea, then glancing back toward Themyscira. There we go. That's how it goes. Diana pondered the fate of the humans, wondering how long her beloved city could stay free of the terrible troubles now besieging the mortal world. I hope you are right, Mother, she said sadly. Then pulling her horse around, she followed the queen home. Okay, so really quick, whenever we come to one of those page breaks, we try to take some notes. So we got Hippolyta, and we've got Diana / Wonder Woman as characters. And then let's see, we've got Paradise Island, the Aegean Sea. Why did I hit the start button on accident? Paradise Island. The Aegean Sea and Themyscira. And I think that's everything so far. Let's see. Can't remember the name, but when I was like in elementary school, it was the clown from the OG Ben 10. I really did not like the clown episodes. God, what was his name? Biz something or other. It's not Bizarro. Biz. I can't remember his name, but I didn't like him, and I didn't like his henchmen. They just all looked terribly disgusting to me, and not in not like a Courage the Cowardly Dog or Invader Zim kind of disgusting, where like it's disgusting and interesting. They just looked disgusting to me, and so I wasn't really Zombozo. Yeah, that's it. So I wasn't really into them, and the fact that they tied them into the Ghost Freak plotline made that probably not work for me as well as it should have. It actually made me kind of bummed out that like he became a big bad later on. But hopefully, you know, going through the show a second time will maybe change my opinions. Who's to say? Let's see. Let me catch up with the other stuff real quick. Absolutely, Doom is a sequel. You can see the crisis scenes in the opening title. Okay, so there you go. I think it's an alien force, but when Kevin is Greg Sipes and Gwen is Ashley Johnson, all I hear is Beast Boy and Tara. Oh, I didn't know the Tara voice actress goes over there. But yeah, I knew Greg Sipes shows up. Let's see. Hey folks, just popping in. What are we talking about? Wonder Woman? Cool. Yeah, we're going through the next couple chapters of Justice League Secret Origins. We're on the place where we're at the part where Wonder Woman starts coming into the story. Was it ever called Paradise Island in the DCAU outside the tie-in comics? I don't know. It's been a while since I've actually watched Justice League. But it doesn't look like they have it listed on the wiki, so probably not. All right. Peering down from the cockpit of the Bat-Wing, the Dark Knight was startled by the sight below. Having tracked Superman's flight path across the continent, he now approached a military base built in the side of the majestic Rocky Mountains in Colorado. The tall, electrified fence that had surrounded the base lay shredded, strewn among the rocks. Overturned tanks, toppled guard towers, and flattened buildings covered the area between where the fence had stood and the sheer face of the mountain that housed the complex. Sirens blared and red emergency lights flashed as the Batwing glided towards the entrance to the underground base. But there were no troops around to respond to the incursion. Once the plane touched down its hydraulic cockpit canopy slid open, and Batman climbed from the craft, frowning as he closely surveyed the damage. Two huge steel doors that had been built right into the mountainside lay crumpled on the ground, having apparently been torn off, leaving a gaping entryway to the vast complex beyond. Moving slowly, Batman cautiously stepped through the opening, venturing into the base's dark corridors. Coming to a slightly open door, the Dark Knight peeked into a room where he discovered 50 to 60 hanging sacks identical to the ones he had seen at Star Labs. As he stepped into the room to investigate, a loud pounding from deep within the complex turned his attention away. Following the repeated thuds through the maze of tunnels, Batman entered a large high-tech lab filled with rows of top-secret military hardware. At the far end of the lab, he spotted Superman bashing on a thick steel door that resembled the entrance to an enormous bank vault. Ooh. Again and again, the Man of Steel unleashed crushing blows with his powerful fists, each denting the massive door a bit further. Batman tossed a batarang that zipped past Superman's head and lodged in the wall beside the door. The maneuver achieved the desired... Oh, why is my throat scratchy? Hold on, let me go grab a water real quick. My throat's doing a thing. 1 second, y'all. Let me put this on standby. All right, I'm back. That was I don't know what's going on there, but my throat was just real scratchy for a second. Let's see, where were we? Again and again, the Man of Steel unleashed crushing blows with his powerful fists, each denting the massive door a bit further. Batman tossed a batarang that zipped past Superman's head and lodged in the wall beside the door. The maneuver achieved the desired effect. Surprised, Superman stopped pounding and whirled to confront his friend. "Hold it, Superman," said Batman, raising a gloved hand. "Destroying government property isn't your style. What's going on?" "See for yourself," Superman replied, turning back to the dented door, grasping its edges. Grunting and straining from the enormous effort, Superman tore the door free and tossed it aside, where it landed with a thunderous clang. Leading Batman through a control room filled with equipment panels, giant monitors, and computer consoles, Superman reached another sealed door at the far end of the room. This door, however, was far smaller than the first, and he easily ripped it from its hinges, revealing a vault-like chamber, bathed in eerie blue light. Entering the chamber, Batman spied a tall, green creature with long, stick-like limbs, a thick plated chest, and a high-pointed skull. Floating with a shimmering blue field of energy, the alien's arms, legs, and head were secured by large metal restraining cuffs. Let me catch up with y'all real quick. Let's see, I get Thumbhead and the breath guy, but Frightwig's just like a pale lady. Yeah, I mean, like, she wasn't that bad, but like the fact that she was coupled with the other two, just like made the whole thing uncomfortable to look at. You know, it's not necessarily her fault, but the other two were just a bit too much. Let's see, what is your favorite alien? I really liked Ditto. Rob Paulson coming in and doing that voice was a lot of fun. I grew up knowing it as Paradise Island and Wonder Woman flying with her transparent jet. Let's see. Isn't that just the way? Batman enters a mysterious room and boom, just a ton of strange hanging sacks. That is true. If you're as old as me, have fun finding out how many of your favorite childhood characters were voiced by Tim Curry. Yeah, well, Mac, you're an old man. No, I can't imagine you're much older than me. But yeah, Tim Curry did used to be around a lot. I guess even like to this day, he's still kind of around, right? He did like G. Gordon Godfrey in Young Justice. So he's still popping around, though I doubt he's anywhere near as active as he used to be. Favorite JL member out of the original team, either Hawkgirl or Green Lantern. Better, yeah. The water's helping a little bit. I think I'm just having a little bit of allergies. We really got to dust a bit more than we do with the amount of how allergic I am to cats. There's an episode Paradise Lost, so it seems they knew people thought of it as that, but didn't call it that in their version, kind of like Martian Manhunter. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Maddie in chat, which version of Slade is better, Teen Titans or The Adventures Continues? I mean, Teen Titans, he got to be a lot more fleshed out. I really do like both designs. I love Deathstroke as far as like the design goes at all, like the half and half face mask situation. So really, you could give me any version of him, and I'd be down with it. I've got the Arkham Origins, I think, version hanging up here on my wall behind my computer, and I've got the Adventures Continues version somewhere. He was hanging on the wall, but the little hanger for him did not hold because it was just glued onto the back of the box, and the glue wasn't very strong. Or I guess maybe it wasn't even glued. Like it was like one of those like sticker hangers that they just like stick onto the back of the box, and it's not very strong, and it came off real easy and under the weight of just hanging on the wall. So he's not on the wall, but I don't know where he went. I don't know if they made a figure for the Justice League one, the Justice League live action one, but I would really like to have one of those as well. I think that was my favorite part of that whole movie, was seeing him, and then he was gone. I know Hot Girl didn't do much in the first episodes, but her arc across the entire series was my favorite. Yeah. I mean, she really got a lot of character development. It was great. What is it? Batman asked, staring at the strange being. Humankind's only hope, Superman replied cryptically, throwing a lever on a control console. The blue energy field vanished as the restraining cuffs retracted, allowing the alien to collapse in a heap. Superman stepped up quickly, catching the exhausted creature before he hit the floor. He's been trying to reach out to me telepathically for months, Superman explained, helping the alien to his feet. But that stasis field, in which he was trapped, interfered with the psychic signals. Batman recalled Superman's unexplained collapse at the radar substation. Jesus Christ, my nose is just itching. I need to get like ibuprofen or something in me. Not ibuprofen, Benadryl. That's the one. Let's see. Batman recalled Superman's unexplained collapse at the radar substation. When his message finally broke through, I came here to rescue him. Superman finished as the alien regained his balance, slowly becoming able to stand under his own power. What's he doing here? Batman asked suspiciously. The alien looked right at the Dark Knight, his eyes glowing orange, his voice reverberating inside Batman's head. The alien invasion, said the telepathically transmitted voice. I came to warn you, but I was captured when I arrived on Earth and imprisoned here. Your government and soldiers wouldn't listen. Big surprise, Batman said flatly, still staring at the alien. I sense you do not trust me. The alien said telepathically, perhaps this will help. The two heroes watched in amazement as the alien underwent an astonishing transformation. His pointed skull rounded into a more familiar shape, his plated chest smoothed into that of a well-toned man, and his spindly arms and legs shortened and thickened, completing his overall human-like appearance. His skin remained green, his eyes orange. From his shoulders flowed a long blue cape, held in place by two yellow discs. "I am Jean Jones, also known as the Martian Manhunter," the alien said aloud this time, extending his hand to Batman, who eyed him cautiously, not returning the gesture. "Don't take it personally," Superman said, smiling. "He doesn't trust anyone." "A wise policy," Jean said, lowering his hand and nodding toward Batman. Superman led them back through the maze of corridors, and they soon emerged from the mountain. "We'll need to contact the Joint Chiefs right away." Oh, he said to Batman, not said Batman. Well, I misread that. So that's probably Superman. "We'll need to contact the Joint Chiefs right away," he said to Batman. "I'll fly on ahead. You take him in the Batwing." "We're sure he's on our side?" Batman asked skeptically, suspicion growing in his mind. "This is, after all," he thought, "an alien saying he warned us about an alien invasion." "I know we just met him," Superman replied, "but my instincts tell me to trust him, and right now, he's our only hope." The Martian Manhunter stood silently. He had been met with nothing but distrust from the moment he arrived on Earth. He had no reason to expect anything else, even from the planet's greatest heroes. Remaining on guard, Batman looked right at John Jones. Nodding, he gestured toward the Batwing. The overpowering glare of searchlights suddenly flooded the trio, momentarily blinding them. "Stop right there, Superman!" barked a gruff voice. A blazing light shone down from a hovering helicopter. Shielding his eyes, Superman saw a U.S. military officer at the head of a squadron of soldiers, their weapons aimed at the Man of Steel and his companions. "You're trespassing in a restricted area!" shouted the craggy-faced officer, a colonel from the markings on his uniform. "Our orders are to keep that freak here!" "Wait!" Superman bellowed. "I'll vouch for him, Colonel. You must let us go." "I don't think so!" the colonel yelled back, his troops stepping closer to the threesome in the searchlights. Damn. I didn't know they were having a threesome. Batman noticed that the weapons carried by the soldiers were unlike any rifle he had ever seen. Obviously, not standard military issue. "But the world's security may be at stake," Superman pointed out sternly. A broad smile spread across the colonel's face as his men moved even closer. "That's why he'll never leave here alive," he said, signaling to his troops. The colonel and his soldiers suddenly began to change, morphing from their human forms into... Oh, I hit the next button. Into monstrous aliens. They grew their long torsos covered with red, gray, and black patches, their enlarged mouths glistening with needle-like teeth. Those sacks I spotted must contain the real soldiers," Batman thought, the mystery becoming clear. "And the battle here was between those soldiers and these aliens." The three heroes braced themselves as the malevolent aliens quickly advanced. So, let's see. We haven't had Jean yet. He's also called himself the Martian Manhunter, so we'll drop that in there as well. And let's see. Otherwise, I think, let's see. Rocky Mountains in Colorado. He's been trying to reach out to me telepathically for months. That's a timeline clue there. Though I imagine it's it's, you know, a reference to the same 6 months that we've already covered multiple times. Telepathically for months. Reach out to me telepathically for months. But it went back again. And then let's see. I feel like there was one or two other things. The Joint Chiefs. I'll put them as a person. It's like a group of people, right? Joint Chiefs of Staff or whatever. And then the U.S. is specifically mentioned. I know we're in the United States, but when we get a mention, might as well throw it in. Let me catch up with y'all in the chat real quick. Let's see. Oh, well, where'd the chat go? There it is. Got it. Now I'm just imagining Maddie with a heart-shaped locket, locked with unmasked Slade on one side and masked Deathstroke on the other. Hey, I mean, I love the man. I don't just whatever they did with Teen Titans, like that really hit me as a kid, and I've loved him ever since. I haven't read a lot with him, but like just every time he shows up, there's just something about the basics of his design that really get to me. What was the deal with Tim Curry being replaced for the Joker? I don't remember off the top of my head. I think he went in for an audition, and they just decided that his Joker was a little bit too frightening for what they were trying to go for. Because if you remember, this is something that's come up in videos before. A lot of the older Batman the Animated Series episodes are much more kidified because the story editor at the time, before Alan Burnett came on board, was God, what was her name? Sean Catherine Derrick, I believe, and she wasn't really she didn't really have much knowledge of Batman. She said she did to get the job, and then went home and did a crash course on like the '66 version, and didn't really know, didn't really understand the vision that Bruce Timm and co had for Batman. And like her other credits are like Smurfs and Captain Planet and stuff, so she just wasn't a good fit. So like if they're trying to bring the Joker on while she's on board, I can definitely see Tim Curry being deemed a bit too frightening for the tone that she was envisioning. Are you excited for the Snyder Cut? I mean, I'll give it a watch. I do not really care for Zack Snyder's interpretation of the DC characters, but he does stuff that's visually stunning. I don't even know how much of the blame I put on Zack Snyder for like the way that they the story goes, right? Because the scripts are written by Chris Terrio. I'm sure Zack Snyder has like story input, but like everything I've seen from Chris Terrio, I have not liked. Whether it be the DC movies or Rise of Skywalker. Outside of that, the only other thing he's done is Argo, which I haven't seen and just don't have any interest in seeing, just because I do not like the other stuff I've seen of his. And so I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot. But like, there's no excitement from me about it. If that makes sense. I know James is really interested in seeing what they do. James likes those movies a lot more than I do, and I think a lot of it has to do with James being more of a film guy, and so like a lot of the visuals and stuff hit him and stick with him a lot more than any of it does with me. But he maybe likes this story as well. I don't know. I can't speak for his opinion. I just like, so far the majority of it has legitimately been a 9/11 allegory, and they made Batman into Dick Cheney and Superman simultaneously into Jesus and the Al-Qaeda, right? Because like that's the whole thing with like Superman having destroyed the buildings in the Zod fight. That was like the 9/11 like destroying the Twin Towers situation, and Batman in Batman vs Superman literally quotes Dick Cheney. So it's so muddled, and it doesn't really work for me. I wish that it did, but it doesn't. And I understand it does for some people, but it's not my cup of tea. In my headcanon, DCAU Deathstroke is still voiced by Ron Perlman because he's just too cool. True. I can agree with you there. Young Justice update, new to season 4 title is Phantoms. Yeah, that was announced at Fandom a couple months back. Let's see. Jean, trust me, I hunt men. Right? That was a weird line to put in there. Hello, right back to you, Creeping Suspicions. Is this canon now? What? They're all canon. Everything's canon. Let's see. I don't remember a threesome in the episode. Well, it's in the book. Let's see. Can't wait to see what they call the Imperium's army. So I know that they called one of them like something like a walker pods. Those big ones on the like the legs and everything. So I think they're trying to keep consistent with that. I've heard a different reason given for Curry's exclusion from either Andrea Romano or Hamill that differs from Kevin Conroy's version. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Like, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. So, you know, if there's an official reason out there, then so be it. But that's what I was trying to remember. Yeah, but Maddie, there's more Deathstroke in Snyder Cut. Well, I'm looking forward to that at least. Whoa, you shaved the stash. Yes. I was saying this earlier. I realized that with the Dwayne McDuffie video coming up this weekend, that it was going to be my first on-camera video for the channel since getting the mustache, and thus it would become a focal point of conversation in the comments. And I just felt like I shouldn't have it there to take away from, you know, the actual content of what was going on. So I went ahead, took it off, and figured, you know, maybe another time. Still thinking about that for children and for adults tweet. Yeah, that was a I'm so down with people liking things that I don't like, because I like things that other people don't like. And so, like, I'm so down with, like, people, like, the Snyder stuff doing something for them. But when it gets to a point where you're just like, my personality is about trashing on people for liking the thing that I don't like and for not liking the thing that I like, it's just, it's too much. It's too much. Where were we? Here we are. A brilliant full moon filled the midnight sky over Paradise Island with delicate shimmering light, illuminating the royal palace of Themyscira. Its magnificent spires gleamed like gems against the lush mountains that bordered the glorious city. In contrast to its radiant exterior, the inner corridors of the palace were cloaked in darkness, broken only by the flickering of candlelight from a series of sconces. What is... I feel like I've looked that word up recently. Sconces. I think it's like an architectural thing. A candle holder that is attached to a wall with an ornamental bracket. Okay. So yeah, it's technically it's an architectural thing. I would say. There we go. Let's pretend that these are the sconces. Wait, no, nope. These are the sconces. This is it. This is what I'm canon saying the sconces are. Look at this guy. Look at him. I love him. This is what Paradise Island is like. You have Dragon Man with a big ass pipe just shoved through the back of his throat. That's beautiful. This is a sconce. This is the sconce. This is what Wisconsin is all about. Wisconsin, Paradise Island. Beautiful. Oh my god. Have to run. Only had a few minutes, but keep smiling and I'll catch up with you soon. Hey, well, take it easy. You know, you have a good day. The reviews of the new Superman and Lois show is showing how toxic the Snyder cult is. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure there are plenty of people who like the Snyder stuff that, like, aren't like that, right? Because James, like I said, James is really into those movies. But, like, the diehards are just a lot. Sconce is one of those things that only exists as a D&D light source, like a brazier. Are you saying that a brazier only exists as a D&D light source? Do you like Superman and Lois? I haven't watched it yet. Dragon Man is token up. I love him. This is who I aspire to be as an adult. Okay, so now that we know what a sconce is, where was it? Where was the word sconce? Oh my god, I'm its magnificent spire gleamed. Palace were cloaked in darkness, broken only by flickering of candlelight from a series of sconces protruding from the walls. A cloaked figure made her way stealthily through the deserted halls, cautious, silent, and unseen. Okay. Reaching the enormous bronze door in the main hallway, the lone figure glanced back over her shoulder, then slowly opened the doors, slipping out into the warm night. Crossing the palace grounds, her dark cloak pulled tight. She hurried across the city's main plaza, arriving quickly at the Temple of Athena, goddess of wisdom and military victory. Pausing one final time, glancing in all directions to make sure she was seen by no one, the furtive figure entered the temple. Removing the hood of her cloak, Princess Diana walked briskly across the marble floor. Stepping through shafts of moonlight that sliced between the temple's many huge columns, Diana knelt at the base of the massive statue of the goddess, looking up at the finely carved image. Seeking counsel with Athena before going into battle was a long-standing tradition among Amazon warriors. Trained in the warrior ways of her people, Diana had been here many times, hoping for strength and guidance in a quest or a confrontation with an enemy of Themyscira. But she had never before sought out the blessing of Athena without her mother's knowledge or approval. "Goddess," she began, "I know I seek your wisdom in a forthcoming battle, not for the survival of the Amazons, or even in defense of the gods, but rather to assist the mortals of Earth. But, great Athena, I ask for your guidance to help in a task I consider just. The humans face their greatest challenge, and I fear that even their mightiest warriors cannot defeat the enemy who now attacks. The addition of my power may not be enough to turn the tide of battle, but my conscience screams out that I must at least try." Lowering her head, Diana caught a glint of gold out of the corner of her eye. Glancing at a small pedestal across the room, she noticed a group of objects resting on the rounded stone platform. "The sacred armor of the Amazons," she cried, recognizing the hollowed relics, realizing that this powerful armor could help her in the defense of the mortals. Diana also knew that its removal from the temple was forbidden. Her mother would be furious. Diana struggled with her desire to do what she felt was right. weighing that against the possible consequences of violating both her mother's wishes and Amazon law. Throwing off her cloak, Diana walked quickly across the temple. Reaching the pedestal, she lifted a red and gold breastplate and donned the armor. She next put on 2 silver bracelets and a gold tiara with a bright red star. Grasping the final item, a golden lasso, Princess Diana looked up once again at the statue. "Mother and the goddess, forgive me," she said, bowing. Then she turned and left the temple. Okay, that's the end of chapter 4. Let's see, really quick. We have the Temple of Athena to add as a place. And then we have Athena as a person, or as a character, I should say. We'll say she's mentioned because we don't actually see her. Let's see. How long is chapter 5? If it's quick, we might be able to do it. Let me see. Oh no. Okay, chapter 5 is over 20 pages. So I might call it here because, like I said, I've got a couple errands to take account of, and I gotta eat lunch and everything before that as well. So I'm gonna try to catch up with the chat real quick, and we'll see where we're going. But I think it's gonna be I think that's gonna be the end of it for today. Let's see. A couple more Superman and Lois questions. Or not questions, but comments. It's pronounced brazier and isn't a brazier. Oh, okay. Well then. The more you learn. I really like Superman and Lois, but it'll take a lot to usurp Lois and Clark from me. I haven't watched Lois and Clark. I think I saw like an episode way back in the day, but I've got no interest in going into it nowadays, just because of like how cruddy of a person Dean Cain is. Baby Maddie, when I grow up, I want to be a dragon from the neck down and have a pipe with a bowl as big as my head. Yes. And even now, I feel like I am Baby Maddie. I have not reached adulthood until I become that creature. Let's see. BVS was such a disrespecting mess to me. I can't accept DC fans thinking it was a good movie. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it feels really weird and inconsistent because, like I said, just the way that it's presented. The entire thing is a 9/11 allegory, but also Superman is a Christ figure while also being the thing that caused 9/11, and so it's very strange. It's not like logically consistent with itself, in my opinion, and it's a muddled mess of different things. Right? Like you can't be both Jesus Christ and be jihadist suicide bombers at the same time. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sure like it's like not religiously respectful, especially with like the part that like Superman is like created by like Jewish guys and like has that background to him. Like turning him into Christ figure is also kind of weird. Like they could have done a lot of interesting stuff, and it just instead they kind of just threw a lot of things in the pot and muddled it up. Flickering of candlelight. If James was reading this, it would sound... true, a fuckering of candlelight. I can look over the stuff I didn't like in Man of Steel, but BVS is just as... Yeah, I mean, that was the first movie that I went to in theaters that like I wanted my money back afterwards. Like I had enjoyed Man of Steel at the time when it first came out. I was really into it when it first came out, and I feel like maybe a lot of what's changed my opinion is just like the amount of media I've consumed since then. Because like growing up, I was very, very like I lived in a very sheltered household, and so we didn't really get to watch a lot of things, and so like my media literacy was not necessarily what it is now, and so like, you know, I liked a lot of things that nowadays I'm just like, I'm not so sure I vibe with that. But yeah, that's that on my past. Let's see, TBH, I didn't expect such great quality from the CW. Y'all are gonna make me watch this show, ain't you? I can accept people liking BVS because anyone can have whatever taste they wish, but by any objective metric, it is not a good narrative. Yeah, I mean, definitely. People can like whatever they want to like, right? Like, I enjoyed Arctic Dogs, which is very much not a movie that that many people enjoyed, but you know, so be it. If I can enjoy Arctic Dogs, I can see people liking Batman vs Superman. It's just not for me. What is my favorite DCEU movie? I really liked Shazam. Shazam is my top. And then Wonder Woman, I feel like, is my second. And then under that are Aquaman and Birds of Prey, which, like, I really feel like I need to watch both again, because I wasn't really necessarily in the headspace to, like, absorb what was happening in either of them. And maybe that'll raise them up the ranks. But right now, Shazam is my top one. Let's see. How do the Amazonians learn about the invasion anyway? They don't really have technology. Maybe they're magical people. Maybe they just have a feeling about it, right? Didn't she say something about a prophecy? Shazam is probably my fave. My Hero Academia, feeling my niche. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, well, you know, technical difficulties make a stream short. It's hopefully it's not a thing we got to deal with on Saturday when we come back for another timeline stream. I also think Shazam is the best movie, but I kind of found Suicide Squad to be the most fun. I did not have fun with Suicide Squad, but that's just me. Let's see. Yeah, I loved the show when it first came out, and now I'm resisting the urge to watch it. I have a pretty high tolerance for separating art from the artist, but Dean Cain is off. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that, like, I'm sure that the show's probably fine. But like, I just have no interest in, like, seeing such an awful dude being Superman, you know. And like, I'm sure that, like, it's probably written to where he's you know, at least portraying a decent Superman. But like, I just don't have any interest in the dude or anything he's done. See, since we're talking about turning into dragons, I just want to say that American Dragon Jake Long is being added to Disney Plus tomorrow. Is that show good? Like, I never watched it. The art style, like, kind of felt weird to me. Those early 2000s Disney shows all felt like really weird art styles to me. I'm trying to think, like American Dragon and Brandy and Mr. Whiskers, and there were a couple other ones. And so I just avoided them because it didn't feel like it was something I would be into. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, God, what is... oh, well, you know, I guess it reminds other people of that because there's a lot of Juniper Lee and Jake Long. Like, it reminds me of, like, Juniper Lee kind of art style and stuff, and, like, I don't know, I wasn't really into that. There was, like, just a weird period of time in cartoons where the art style just did not really work for me. And so I skipped a lot of stuff that's probably otherwise decent, or not even decent, but good. Oh, I'm pulling that all up on the wrong browser. I have a Chrome browser and a here we just have the sconce man. I was pulling that up on Chrome rather than the Microsoft Edge browser. But yeah, like, it kind of reminds me of, like, this art style and stuff, and, like, that's it just never said. Well, damn, El Dorado guys getting it on over here. Let's just back off of that. Sconce man. But yeah, that's a. So I don't know. American Dragon could be good. I just it just didn't resonate with me at the time. Jesus did 9/11 confirmed, right? If Superman had once dealt with his problems, but he just says I don't care and gets into a tub. I'm just gonna make the Kents not practicing. Let's see. Aside from being conservative, what's the deal with Dean Kent? He's not just conservative. He's like a big Trumpster. Which, like, I mean, you can marry those things together. But if your version of conservatism is Trumpism, like, get the fuck out my face. I mean, as far as, like, being a conservative, right? Like, if you're not a conservative and you see those things as synonymous, then, you know, it makes sense. But, like, if you are there are conservatives who say, like, no, Trump's not our guy, and, like, those folks are more on the redeemable end, I feel like. But, like, if you are a conservative and you are a Trumpist, which is a large amount of them now. Like, I don't know, get out of my face with that. Let's see, Zack Snyder just needs to make a DBZ movie. Oh no, I will not let him do DBZ. I legitimately want to see him do, like, just because of the way that he likes to do religious allegory and stuff. Like, I would love to see him do something that's intentionally supposed to be a religious allegory. I think Pilgrim's Progress could be a lot of fun with Zack Snyder behind the wheel. I think that maybe he has the chops to do Chronicles of Narnia, at least, like, the darker side of that stuff. I don't know if I would want him to head the entire franchise, but I could see him doing a really good The Horse and His Boy, The Silver Chair, and maybe even The Last Battle. I don't know so much about doing the lighter end with stuff that's like you know, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or Prince Caspian, but, like, the darker stuff, the stuff that's, like, a lot more, like, angsty, I could see him doing really well. People saying it was too dark or violent. Old Boy is one of my favorite movies, and let's see. I love Shazam 2. Just have to have good writing and the tone of your movie. Let's see. Which Wonder Woman is in your top two? The first one, yeah. I was not a big fan of Wonder Woman 84. It just, I didn't care about the stakes, just because, like, you know, we already know the future of this world, and, like, it felt like they were trying to overcorrect, right? Like, they like the first movie, like, understood that it was, you know, living in a more serious version of the DC universe, and decided, like, hey, let's try to adhere to that and do the best we can with the film. Whereas this one is like, oh, Shazam and Aquaman, like, those movies exist now. Like, let's overcorrect and just get as goofy as we can. And it felt weird, and I just the tone of the movie, literally, okay. So Gal Gadot was a member of the Israeli Defense Force, right? It like just like the Israeli military, and like it's largely anti-Palestine and stuff like that. And I don't really vibe with that, but like, you know, it doesn't necessarily come across in the writing or anything. But in this movie, she tells Max Lord that like, you're ruining everything, like just minutes after he brings peace to like Middle Eastern countries. And like, knowing that background of her just made that hit really weird. Like they could have done that at a different time. Like the whole there was just so many strange choices in that movie that like made me not really dig it too much. Like I put it on my tier list. I put it like in the same tier as like Man of Steel and Justice League for me, but like at the top end of that tier. Like, it's fine as a popcorn flick where like you're not really thinking about things and just watching it to have something to watch. But like, it's not a bad movie, but I don't think it's a good movie. Let's see. Only cut a few episodes, Jake Long, but has surprisingly evolved and interesting mythos. Yeah, that's what I've heard. American Dragon got a different art style in season 2. Huh? I might have to give it a go. Did I ever see Symbionic Titan? Yes, I watched that last year and I really enjoyed it. Let's see. A Zack Snyder Dante's Inferno. Oh, that could be really good too, yeah. Okay, well, bye, Protocol 1008. It's like, see you never. I do not care. Let's see. We've had enough religious symbolism with Man of Steel. Yeah, I mean, like, Zack really likes to do religious symbolism. But I would like him to just like do something that's intentionally supposed to be religious, is what I was saying. Snyder's strength is visual. His characterization of narrative is fairly weak. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, and I think that's why Watchmen is the only Snyder thing that's worked for me, because like he had such a strong foundation of a narrative to start off of, and so like adding the visuals that he has to that like made that shit just pop. And I know it's not like the most, like, I know it's not the best representation of what's going on in the comic, but it works as a movie. Whereas like a lot of his stuff just more or less just feels like eye candy to me. Like, I watched Sucker Punch way back in the day, around the time that first came out, and I really enjoyed the visuals, but I could not tell you what was going on in that movie at all. And like he's got a really great and interesting style, and I wish it was just deployed on things that that had a stronger narrative to them. Let's see. I'm not really a fan of the Patty Jenkins films that I've seen. I really didn't like either of the Wonder Woman films. Well, you know, to each their own. Not sure what a great standalone Wonder Woman movie would look like. Yeah, so the thing is, like, Wonder Woman, I feel like is a pretty difficult character to do. The way that I saw her described by Dwayne McDuffie while I was doing all this research for the new video was more or less that she's less of a character and more of just a bag of bits. And like, it makes sense to me, right? Like a lot of the stuff that's happened in her mythos was just like, oh, I don't know, what if she has an invisible jet? What if she has and like it never really focused on her as a character. And like there's definitely been attempts to course correct that in the time since, and I think the Justice League cartoon was probably the first one of the first things to really be like, no, like, let's make her an interesting character. Let's give her like a reason for the things that she does and stuff like that. And so since then, she's really evolved over time. But just with that history, like, it makes it weird to try to figure out what she should be. And I think they're starting. I think they're really starting to get there. But I don't know what I would say a good Wonder Woman would need to be, personally. Watchmen is almost panel to panel with the comic, so you can't really give him credit. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pretty close. I feel like there's some things that like weren't really translated too well into the film, like the fact that Rorschach is actually not that great of a guy, right? Like the way the movie does it is it like gives him like an edgy underdog vibe, when like the book itself, it's just like dudes just radiating like angry incel vibes, and you know, because of the movie, like a lot of people now are just like, yes, Rorschach is the good guy, and like it works for the movie, but that's not what the original intended thing was. But I was just bringing that up more or less to just say, like, if Zack has a really good starting place, like, he can make really fucking good movies because of how good his visual style is. But the stuff that I've been seeing mostly from him, I don't feel like has that good narrative starting place. Is my cat getting better? Yes, yeah, he's been doing a little better. We're taking him to the vet again, I think tomorrow or next Friday. I don't remember the specific day. But he's going back in for a checkup. But he's been doing a lot better. They just want to see him and make sure that things are Gucci. I think the whole Wonder Woman being 18 or so in jail was trying to add an extent of naivety and wonderment to Wonder Woman, kind of like Starfire and Teen Titans. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think like, I don't know that that's necessarily like canonically her age. That was Dwayne McDuffie saying like, I don't know canonically, but like this is kind of how I try to write them. And I 100% see that. It gives her a little bit more of a like, oh, everything is so strange and new to me. Oh, sick cat. I know how that feels. We just found out my cat was over 20 last year. Over 20 years old? Oh, geez. Yeah, that's I imagine that would be a time when they would start getting a little bit sicker. For me, Night Owl is the only real hero in Watchmen 2009. And even then he's got his faults. But yeah, I really enjoyed his let's see. Let's see. Well, like I was saying, the 18 thing, I don't necessarily think is canon. It's just the closest thing we have to canon. It's Dwayne McDuffie saying like, this is the way that I write the characters. So maybe she's older, but like, that's just Dwayne McDuffie's input. There's other people working on the shows. Let's see, I couldn't make it through Watchmen the second time. Tried to watch it, dragged too much, and I tapped out. But yeah, okay. All right, we've hit the hour mark, even with the technical difficulties. So I do need to go and get those errands taken care of. It's great catching up with all of y'all and chit chatting and everything, but I just gotta skedaddle. So, I will be back Saturday night for another timeline streams, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. No. 9 p.m. Eastern, right? Eastern's ahead of Pacific. Yeah. So 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then the Dwayne McDuffie, James was telling me it's 48 minutes long without having put in any of the clips that he needed to yet. So like we really try to dive deep into the man's life. Me and Kuro from the Ink Tank. So that's Sunday, and then next week, as always, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have streams at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and I think James is actually doing one on Monday as well to draw some Batman heads for Patreon perks and everything. But yeah, with all that, I'm gonna go ahead, get out of here, get some lunch, take care of these errands. You all take care. Mwah. I love you all. Oh, I just realized that my webcam is like poking out of the corner here. Why didn't anyone tell me? There we go. There we go. That's part of the technical difficulties. That's all right. But yeah, I gotta go ahead and jet. Y'all take care. 6 p.m. Pacific is 9 p.m. Eastern. Did I not say that? I thought I did say that. I don't know. I just talk a million miles a minute. But Sconce Man loves you. What if I got James to add him to the channel banner? Maybe that'll be a thing to do. I don't know. I'm outie. Bye.